Hello, everyone, and welcome to Africa Fire Mission's weekly virtual training session. My name is Mike, and I'm the programs director here at Africa Fire Mission. We're so happy you took time out of your busy schedules to join us for today's training. Today, we're joined by José Ngunjiri. Jose is Africa Fire Mission's fire safety officer, and he's getting us kicked off with our month of fire prevention here. We're going to be taking a look at fire prevention topics um, for the first couple weeks of this month, getting us ready so that in September you guys can go out and really make a push for fire prevention activities within your communities. We got started last week sharing some resources that Africa Fire Mission has available to you for fire prevention activities. Lots of free resources that are available from our webpage, www.africafiremission.org. So I would encourage you take a look at last week's training. You can find that from that homepage, from that Africa Fire Mission webpage, if you go to the resources tab, or check out our YouTube. Search for Africa Fire Mission on YouTube. There you'll be able to find a recording of today's training, all of our previous trainings, if you need to get caught up from what you missed last week. Before we get started with Jose and our training today, I'm going to pass things over to Errol Sianga. Now, Errol is Africa Fire Mission's fire safety advocate, and he's going to get us started here with just a couple words of encouragement.
Thank you very much, Chief Mike. Welcome, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So, at this particular moment, we want to get into a point where all of us we're experiencing some movement here and there. But my word of encouragement comes from the book of First Peter chapter 2, verse 3. And it says, I read and I quote, when they see just a second, First Peter chapter 2, verse 3, it says, like a newborn babies crave for spiritual milk, so that by it you may grow up in your salvation. As we take a walk in our salvation, in our lives of salvation, we need to feed ourselves day in, day out by reading the word and practicing the word. Like a child who is newborn always feeds on the mother's milk so that they can grow and boost their immunity as well, so that they can eat as well. So also here, all of us in the fire service, as we start this month of focusing on fire prevention, prevention is better than cure. So all of us need to go out there, uh, sensitize the community about importance of keeping safe in our environment, how to protect ourselves in the case of a fire in the house, in the business community, so that we make our environment clean and safe. Thank you very much. Back to you, Mike.
Thank you, Errol. Appreciate you sharing those words of encouragement and all the work that you're doing to help promote fire safety and education throughout really all of Africa. All right, guys, before we get started, quick little administrative note. Check your screen name, whatever you're using as your screen name. It's going to be the name that goes on that certificate. You'll get that certificate if you stick around for at least 70% of today's training, which is usually about 40 or 45 minutes. If you get cut off, you drop your network, something like that, don't worry. There's another way you can get a certificate if you'd like. Head on over to that webpage I mentioned earlier, www.africafiremission.org. Go to the resources tab under there in training. You'll find 2025 online trainings. Click there. You'll be at our Google Drive where we've got all of our trainings from this year so far. If you watch the video, answer a few questions so that we know you stuck around for the whole training, I'll get you a certificate of attendance for those trainings as well. So check that out if you need to. If you're sharing your screen with some other people, I'm about to drop my email in the chat. Just let me know who else is sharing that screen. I'll get them some certificates as well. When we get finished with training at the top of the hour, we transition into tea time. Tea time is a time for you to ask questions about today's class or just network with firefighters from throughout Africa. Take a look at the chat. We've got guys from the Middle East. We've got guys from all over Africa. So Great place to do a little bit of networking, share your success stories and tips and tricks maybe that you've learned doing fire prevention so we can all get better. So stick around if you have the time there at the top of the hour. Now I'm going to pass things back over to Jose and let him get started with today's training.
Thank you so much, Chief Mike. I truly appreciate you. And yeah, so today we are actually going to learn something very interesting that is very close in my heart. So close in my heart that this is actually what I do for a living, fire prevention. And in this particular case, I'll ask Chief Mike to kindly pull up and share the slides for me. So that's me. My name is Jose Ngunjiri. I reside in Kenya, and in particular Nairobi. That's the capital city of Kenya. I'm a fire safety officer. I'm also more like an advocate. That's over there. I wrote advocate / officer working for Africa Fire Mission since 2019. Next slide. It is very important for us to actually get to understand this topic of today. We are talking about fire prevention in markets and communities. But in this particular lesson of today, we're going to know or even to adapt with the current trends of most of us are in social media. And case in play, for example, you have 5 of your friends. Many a times we get to just talk for like 3 minutes, and then from there we're right on our phones. So it is very critical that we get to use this social media to the best of our ability to actually make sense for us. So why is fire prevention critical in Africa? And in fact, not only in Africa, but why is it critical in developing nations? Yeah. As Mike goes to the next slide, you find that in our communities, we have issues in regards to narrow paths, extremely very small and many iron sheet homes. Yeah. One thing that we need to understand and we need to be prevalent of is one key point. Prevention starts with awareness. Yeah. When you go to your community, for example, you need to actually have that outlook of how will I make them aware of, number one, if they come across danger, who can they call? Yeah. Of course, they know if there's a shooting, they get to call the police. But if there's a fire, who do they get to call? You find most of the community members calling either the police, which is good, but then we need to tell them, hey, if you want to get the fire brigade, they have their own fire brigade number that you can get to call directly. So one of the things that why fire prevention is critical in Africa is the vulnerability of our community members. Yeah, our markets are really small and squashed. And again, if you look at the cost of fire prevention and the cost of us going to put out the fires, we'd rather prevent these fires than actually wait for them to happen. Just in play, look at what happened to Kisumu yesterday in Kenya. Because somebody forgot a kerosene stove in one of the shops near the market, it messed up most of the shops within that market region. Yeah. The Kisumu City Fire and Rescue. Thank you for that comment, Eunice. Next slide, please. Also, we need to understand when we are conducting home visits, it is encouraged that when you do home visits, you're actually reducing risks. You tell these people, whenever you are either using a gas cylinder, that we have these 6 kilo cylinders that are for the homes, and number two, maybe you're using a charcoal a stove. What are the dangers? Yeah. So you are encouraging those homesteads to reduce the risk of either death because of carbon monoxide or even death because of explosions. Yes. Like you can see, for example, we tell people in the community, hey, when you're buying regulators, where do you buy these regulators? You should buy them from authorized authorized petrol stations or gas cylinder authorized dealers. Why do we do that? Because these other scrupulous businessmen, they bring these regulators that are not very good, and they end up messing up causing explosions and things like that. So common risk in communities and businesses, you find, for example, the overcrowding and blocked exits. These make challenges when, for example, fire engines come in. It's so hard to put out these fires. And also you might find these small homes, for example, they're so small, but then there are so many. The car parks maybe even like 2 kilometers away or 1 kilometers away. You can imagine how many hoses they have to lay for them to reach that burning place. So we have to encourage the community members on safe living so that we can reduce these fires. Play a small video, and you're gonna see one of the community guys or people really struggling with the faulty or fake regulators. You'll notice that first of all, they were putting out the fires well, but because of lack of being exposed, guess what happened? They messed it up. Maybe you can push play on that. There you go. She panicked. The tank went and rolled near the she's shouting to the daughter, get up from there, move, and casting out demons. All of a sudden it became from reality and it became a demonic affair. By all means, the devil wasn't involved there. I'm not an advocate of the devil, but then that is outright people not knowing how to deal with such fires. We are needed as fire safety advocates or as firefighters to actually go out there and teach people on safe handling of the liquid petroleum gas, the LPG. Next slide, please. So it is very important that you know your role, yes, as a fire safety advocate, yeah, in your county or your country. What is your role? Yes, I've written them down there. What you need to understand is your community, the community that you're reaching, the community that you're reaching out to, they will listen to its own. What do I mean by that? They listen to you much more than they will listen to me as a visitor. Example in play, for example, I go to West Pokot. West Pokot, they have their own dialect, all right? And then with my Swahili, I go there and try to talk to them. Guess what they will go like? They'll start focusing on either my accent or how I'm my movements and all that, and they forget about the message. But then you might find the local firefighter over there, they will switch from they will switch to their local dialect and start teaching people, yeah, advocating about safety with their own language, yeah. So never hesitate or feel ashamed to use your local language for the people to know. Yeah, you saw the previous video. That lady actually was talking in a local language in Kenya, Kikuyu, you know. That is what they understand. So there's no need of you talking in English, and the best way to talk is in your local dialect for people to understand. So your role is to reach out to anybody and everybody who can listen. That is the boda guys. These are the motorbike people. If you get a chance to go to the churches, do it. If you get a chance to go to the market, do it. Any point that you get a chance, that is your point to advocate. All right. Next slide. You don't need to wait for you to see 3,000 people in a setup for you to actually do the fire sensitization. I found so many people come to me and go like, oh, Jose, today I went to a place and I was so discouraged. Guess what happened? I got to only sensitize 2 people. And it's so discouraging that tomorrow I will not go. I'm like, oh my gosh, 2 people is a big number. Because you know what? It only takes 1 person to actually call the fire brigade. If you convince the fire brigade that there is a fire in your area, and you by no doubt, they will show up. They'll not wait for 15 calls for them to attend. No. So among those 2 people, 1 person might be the angel to save the whole community from burning down. Yeah. So don't wait for 500 people. Do as little as 2 or 3, you know. So we call, like in this particular place, this is a firefighter Cyrus, and he was doing, I call them fire sensitization theaters. They just go, he sets up his station, 10 minutes, he's done. He carries his gas cylinder, everything. He goes to another place where he can get 2 or 3 audience, does it. All right. As you can see, he's very equipped with his, as you can see on the photo, I'd ask you kindly to get to check on the photo. You'll see him with a microphone, and then check out how he has dressed, you know, just a coverall or an overall that represents that he's actually fit for the job and he knows what he's doing. Never try to be a hero when doing this stuff. Do it safely. And if it's possible, go at least 2 people. You can do it alone. But if you can't do it alone, I mean, if you can do it alone, fine. You can do it 2 people, but if they're not available, do it alone, but do it safely. Next slide, please. I want to switch us a little bit. Remember what I told you about? Right now, the world is changing, and we need to change with them. Everybody is on their phones, you know, everybody. Even now, as we are speaking, if not everybody, except me and maybe Errol and Chief Mike, we are the ones in the office. Most of us are watching us from their mobile phones. Yeah. So why don't we make use of them? Can you imagine? We have 250 million Africans on social media. And it's not just one app, it's all across. We're talking about Twitter, we're talking about TikTok, we're talking about Instagram and all that time. We spend so much time on social media. In fact, nowadays, I'm really shunning away from it, touching my phone, because I'll find myself on TikTok trying to either answering some questions on people or checking out comments, which sometimes are crazy comments. Some pleasant, others are not are nasty, but you keep on doing it. Yeah, these are social media. It's a super hint for you to make videos and also photos. But there are some rules to it, which of course we're not going to talk to them to, I mean, I'm not going to break them down right now. I'm going to do that in about 2 months from now on using social media in communication. Yeah. So one thing that you need to do is to make, number one, your videos shareable. They need to be truly perfect. Yeah. But then they need to make sense for fire safety content. Yeah. It's very important for you to do that, so that you can start making conversation. You want to stir up conversations, so that not just conversations that don't bring change. Your main aim is you want to bring social change. Yeah. Next slide, please. Before we play this video, of course, that is me. I was in, we had visited Malawi and we were training firefighters to go and train. Yeah. So whenever you make your videos for your community and market reach outs, remember here we are reaching out to people who are on their phones. Yeah. But then for you to reach them on their phones, you actually have to be on the ground to do it. Anytime that you go to the market or community to do your reach out, make sure, number one, you know that skill so well, verbatim. Don't go to try it with them over there. You will embarrass yourself. Yeah. Number two, you need to have backup. If this fails, what do I need to do without even the community knowing? You've known that it has failed. How do I change so fast so that I can be able to block that challenge to the rest? So, and that is why we were telling you guys that it is very important for you to have drills in the firehouse. Train and sweat in the firehouse. When you get out, you guys look like superstars, but then you're not superstars. Who you are is that you are training so hard and every day that you're used to it, and you're so confident with the skill, and people will feel more safe to learn from you. Okay. So whenever you do these videos in the marketplace, maybe now you have 2 or 3 people, one person is dedicated to actually take these videos. So make them short and clear videos with a good view. All right. So there are some people who take videos with their cameras facing on a portrait angle. You know, their phones are straight like this. I don't know if you can be able to see. Yeah, they're straight like that. But then good videos are made on landscape. So in this particular video, they put it on landscape. Remember, you have to have, you'll see later on, the why, the who's your target market. Yeah. So you make them short, clear videos. Yeah. And great videos are on landscape, as I said. Yeah. I've noticed that portrait videos don't get a lot of conversation going. Remember, what do you want to bring? You want to bring a social change. Yeah. So you want to get either conversations going, and with the conversations going, you will end up even having maybe even your video either going viral, or not only viral, but also it stirs up a conversation. Yeah. So, and in this particular video, I got to engage more than 10,000 people in my comments. Yeah. Not only 10,000 videos, it got to have 41,200 shares and more than 19.3 million views just on TikTok. Yeah. And other platforms on Facebook, it got more than 10 million likes. So listen, you don't have to bother too much on negative comments. Focus on the price. So what is your price? Your price is to bring social change. people say that when, for example, a gas cylinder that's a situation, it is going to blow. You and myself, because of the education we've gotten in the fire school, we know that in this particular video, the gas, the cylinder cannot blow up. Why? Because the whole cylinder has to be having, what do we call it? Like the temperature, it needs to reach the right temperature, and that fire needs to be around the cylinder, not away from the cylinder. Yeah. Like for it to achieve the Blevy scenario, boiling liquid, evaporating, explosion, Blevy. So this cannot be able to achieve Blevy. And this video you'll see, it is exactly, if I'm not wrong, it is about 8 seconds. 8 to 10 seconds, if I'm not wrong. And you'll see the effect that it has. Let's play.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you open it up away from you. Okay? And then you shut it off.
That video, I uploaded it on my TikTok when I was in Malawi, and within an hour, it had like 5,000 views. And right now, I think it's going to 19.8 million views. It was so significant that people actually stole that video from my TikTok and went and placed it on their Facebooks and on their Instagrams and everywhere. I did not report the video. Because remember, what is your goal? Your goal is not, number one, for you to, fine, if it makes money, I won't refuse. But my goal is for the video to go to as many people as possible. Many people as possible. That was one main goal. Goal number 2 is for us to actually bring social change as fire safety advocates. So when you're posting a video, ask yourself, what do you want to achieve for either your market area or your community? Remember that. And as you can see on the background, those are the people that we got to train so that they can go and hopefully replicate. All right. Next slide, please. Away from videos, you might end up seeing, you might end up seeing that maybe you don't have a video. What do you have? You have a photo, or should I say an illustration? Yeah. Again, what message do you need to portray for your community? You find, for example, in my community that I reach out to, people are still using candles and kerosene lanterns. So for you to bring that social change, they have their own groups within their community. You can make an illustration like what is on your screen right now. Simple, clear. Remember, and you're a witness, like when you are scrolling on your TikToks or your Instagram, how many seconds do you take on a video? If something doesn't make sense, you scroll up. Something doesn't make need, you scroll up. All right. So over here, you want to capture the eye as fast as possible. Yeah. In fact, use colors that are pleasant to the eye, that are eye-catching. Yeah. In this particular video, case in play, you will see that you are using red and yellow and black. There's a reason for that, for your eyes to to capture the message. Yeah. So when you're using illustration for Facebook, WhatsApp, and community, for your community or stories, where do you have stories? Are they on Facebook? Actually, they're on all platforms. Make sure your message is clear, quick to grasp. This generation right now doesn't waste time. It doesn't care what we feel. So for us to, because we care, we have to make the message within in the next maybe 3 seconds. We've already captured it. Yeah. And for information, such like these illustrations, just like what we did for last week, you can actually get to download these items right from our website at africafiremission.org on resources or training resources for free. You do not get to pay. Yeah. So I want to see this kind of culture in when I enter your Facebook wall. I want you to share these illustrations. Yeah. You need to actually get to communicate fire safety from the word go, from your firehouse. You communicate it from there. Right? By us guys at AFM are providing these resources to help you get to the next level. Next slide, please. As I was saying, you need to be intentional. Yes. Be so focused on your message. Yeah. And that is why I was saying you need to have these tips that I've given you guys. Like I call them the 3 W's and H's, but I've just noticed that I've just put 2 W's. Yeah, so it's actually 2 W's. So who are we targeting? Before you post, you're saying that it is your community that you are targeting. Yeah, and this is for social media and also on physical. When it is on physical, you have to practice before you go to the market or your community. You practice where? In the firehouse with your colleagues. Don't go to practice this fire prevention right in the market. You will embarrass yourself. I can tell you for free. Yeah. So who are you targeting? Is it the residents? Are there school children? Is it business owners? And again, your message, is it relevant to them? If it is not relevant to them, please don't present it. You will lose your client. When I was starting this community reach outs, I was doing my reach outs for 30 minutes, 1 hour. Man, I used to lose so many people in that conversation. The only people that always remained listening are either children who are 2-year-olds. So I just noticed I was babysitting, and maybe some mad people within the market. Yeah, because every market usually has a mad person. So I ended up actually just talking to the madmen and babysitting children. So with time, I came to notice, wait a minute, I can actually convey my message for the target audience. Who am I targeting? And I minimized my message to 7 minutes. Anytime I do my fire rituals for 7 minutes, I lose people. People are busy. People are going to work. People are pressured. People just need, people are constantly on the move. Yes. So remember, we are going to them, number one, so that you remember what we're doing? We're trying to pass the message of them not throwing rocks at us, stones. Number two, them calling us on time. Yeah. Number three, let them know that we are firemen and we are trained for the job. Yeah. So that's a bigger picture. You don't go with that message. I'll try to tell them that we want you to love us, but By you constantly going out there, they get to know that you care for them. All right. Number 2 of the W. When do we post? If it's on social media, when do you do your posts? When are people so much on social media? And in this also particular case, I will also even say, when do we go to do the fire prevention? Yeah, what is a good time? Is 9 a.m. a good time for fire prevention in the market, you think? That is not quite a good time. Why? The schools are going to buy produce to go cook. What do we call it? The traders are extremely busy trying to move their produce. Remember, these are perishable things. So you just need to let them have their time. A good time for actually going to the market to do, or your community to do fire safety reach outs, I found afternoons are quite good. When they have already eaten and they're relaxing, that's when you show up. Yeah. And there's some ways and skills for you to just show up. You just don't show up and go like, hey, listen to me, guys. No, 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 no. Like in a market, you just don't show up. Even though you're from the county and those guys are your colleagues from the county, you have to prior go to them, and them is who? Them is the market manager. Talk to the market manager, tell them your intention, tell them this is what my plan is, and even go as far as telling them this is how far or how much time I will take for me to do my reach outs. It's absolutely key and important. Yeah. So when do we post? You need to know around fire safety, fire seasons. Like for example, in Kenya right now, we are going to a very hot season. Yeah. You need to start doing posts on things like throwing plastic cans in bushes, cigarette butts in the bushes and things like those. Yeah. So major holidays is a good time, and school opening, school opening is a great time for you to actually do it. Yeah. Now, number 3, how do we post? Yeah, or how do we deliver these community fire reach outs, or in our markets and communities? You can do posters. Posters can be if it is on social media, you can do posters, just the previous one I've shown you on the candles. We can do those posters. You can put them on reels. You can do testimonials. Yeah. And if it is physical, you can use posters and go, and if you have a budget, and post them on the wall. But then also, it's not really supposed to be even fancy. You can go like fire safety, fire prevention tomorrow, Thursday at 2 p.m. near the market manager's office, something like that. People will read and they will find interest in it. Yeah. So people will always remember how you make them feel. Yeah. If you relate a fire reach out and maybe an incident that was there 5 days ago, for example, of a business that got burnt and this trader finished everything because of negligence, and how you present it really matters. Yeah. How you relate that lost business to your fire prevention, you will make change in the community for sure. Yeah. Remember, you are an influencer. Yes. And you want to bring change, yeah, in your community. So I'd really encourage you people to actually get out there, and with the knowledge that we've been giving you guys, especially on fire prevention, next month for sure is going to be a busy month. if you've not started doing this, going out to teach, to teach, get to learn now so that you can go and teach later on. Okay. I have some few examples of campaign ideas, even as we look at next month's fire safety month. I call it fire safety month. But then it's so unfortunate that we wait for the fire safety month as firefighters for us to go out there. It is our duty and our mandate to actually go out there at least once a week. I know we have trouble of being facilitated, but guess what? A fire safety reach out can be as you get out from your bus transport to your, for your bus station to your firehouse. Are you seeing mothers selling? You can go talk to them about safety cooking. Are you seeing the motorbike riders? Talk to them. Tell them, hey, these are ways that you can save people on the road. You can save people in your home. This is a way that you can use safe wires in your house, things like that. Don't wait for you to be facilitated for you to actually go out there to bring change. Change starts with you. Change starts now. So I came up with some few local examples. Yeah, I'll translate. Hopefully they will, I will know how to translate them in English. For example, it's a Swahili a campaign. Usually in Kenya, we use Swahili and English mixture. It's people get to understand that. So you might have maybe in your local firehouse, you're trying to encourage businesses in the market area to actually have extinguishers. And people never had an uptake of actually having an extinguisher. So you might have an extinguisher campaign that goes like, Jua extinguisher yako. In English, it goes like, know your extinguisher. So you can, in that particular community, because not all communities teaching them about a fire extinguisher will make sense. Yeah. So for a business, because they actually need a business fire license to operate and they need a physical extinguisher, you might go with an extinguisher and teach them about the acronym pool. You might teach them about an actual way of using an extinguisher. You can even show them how to aim at the base of the fire and things like that. I can tell you, I've done that a countless of times and it never takes more than 10 minutes. In fact, 10 minutes I've exaggerated. It takes maybe about 5 to 7 minutes. Yeah. Maybe you're in a school and you want to teach them about exit drills. Yeah. So we have another challenge or a campaign that goes like Tafuta fire exit. Yeah. Look for your fire exit. This we're encouraging the administration of schools to actually mark their exit doors. Yeah, to keep the exit doors accessible, not to block them with beds or even lockers or water, what we call it, tanks, and then when trouble comes, people cannot be able to, yes, they will know the exit, but it is blocked. Yeah. It can be even a TikTok challenge, for example, of you guys reaching out for 8 seconds to 10 seconds of showing people how to use the extinguisher. Yeah. And you can have even a campaign because maybe you are in as a firefighter, you are in a group of market traders or a community inside your home. Like for example, in our estate, they've actually by default known me as the firefighter. Why? I actually post from time to time issues in regards to safe cooking in their homes, them getting to know how to call the fire brigade and things like that. So you might have something on Market Safety Fridays tips on WhatsApp. Like in particular, if you visit my TikTok account, though I've stopped doing it, I had one time a campaign running for 1 month. I used to call it Tuesday Night Live. So from about 7 p.m., I'll stream it through 10 p.m. I'd talk about smoke detectors. I would talk about exit drills in the home. I'd talk about extinguishers, just about everything on fire prevention, even to a point of even talking about why not to throw stones to firefighters. It was known to be as a Tuesday Night Live campaign. Yeah. You might have even a campaign talking about emergency contact awareness and use posters in Swahili and even local dialect. Yeah. Remember, the bottom line here is, where do I get these people to reach out to them, either in markets or in your community? Yeah. It can be physical. Yeah, I remember one campaign that we did with the Nairobi Fire Brigade and the community safety champions here in Mathare. They were saying, hey, we need a big budget of doing X, Y, and Z, of actually doing a fire reach out. And I told them, if we wait for the budget, we'll end up not doing it. So we just went and took blank papers and wrote the fire messages over there. I mean, things like, don't play with candles. Another poster we wrote, fire brigade number, and another one in Swahili, namba ya zimamoto, and we had a very small budget. And we ended up giving them stickers for them to actually post them in their shops and in their homes. I can tell you for free. And if I'm not wrong, it is actually showing in the OB of Nairobi County of how fires have reduced in the areas that we have reached out to. So you have a mandate as a firefighter in your county to actually go out there, teach people on fire safety, and in particular, just be intentional on the 2 W's and 1 H. Yeah, the 2 W's and 1 H is, who are we targeting? When do we do the post? Or when do I go to reach out? And how do I post? Or how do I reach out? Once you get those few fundamentals, I can promise you, everybody here will actually be smiling and saying, thank God, we were confident enough to train in the firehouse and to go out there and bring change. So, of course, the next slide. You can find more resources here in our Facebook page. And this, I really honestly want to encourage everybody to go to our Facebook page. I mean, of course, Facebook, but our website. That's what I meant. Our website, it's on www.africafiremission.org. And make use of these resources. Do not wait for us to actually bring these lessons online for you to go online, but you need to go to the website and we make our communities safe. And the reason why we're providing these things for free is because of the bottom line. We want less fires and we want to bring a social change in our community. So I wish you luck. And I'm hoping we have brought a lot of change in today's lesson. Back to you, Chief Mike.
Thank you, Jose. That was a great overview of how to get started. Some great information about, targeting those presentations, keeping them short and quick. I've been fortunate enough to get to work with you in person in a couple different countries in Africa when we're doing these. We've done some work with some community groups. We've done some work with firefighters. And I've seen sort of the effectiveness of these quick presentations in the markets, right? I've
Mhm.
also been there. We've been working with some community groups when those
Yeah.
presentations drug on too long, right?
Yeah.
And and um, you know, the specific situation I'm thinking of, we're working with this community group, and they're very excited um, to get out
Mhm.
there and share this knowledge, right? So they've got
Yeah.
all of these topics, and they wanna get all this information out because they're excited about it, you know. So we're
Exactly.
covering every topic, you know, and it's
Yeah.
hot and the sun's beating down and there's a nice crowd at first, and then as it goes and
Fizzling
goes,
out.
wandering away, right? So I mean, I've seen sort of firsthand a lot of the things that Jose is talking about, keeping that, you go in, go out. Yeah, and it's different in different places around the world. For us here in the
Absolutely.
US, it that wouldn't
Mm.
work quite so well. That short people, when they would see us and that we're going to do something, they expect us to sort of keep them around for a while, right? So
Correct.
we've seen how it works in Africa. We've gotten to experience that in person, and it's so much more effective. These quick, targeted, find a group of people, whether it's, two or three people, and as you start, that group's going to grow,
Mm.
right? Like
Yeah.
if there's just a
Yeah.
couple people, but you start talking, maybe you've got your megaphone amplifying your voice, right? More people are going to be, what's going on over here, especially when you're
Hmm.
dressed, as Jose is saying, right? You're
Yeah.
dressed to, you're wearing just, some overalls that can identify you as a firefighter, makes it look right. Like maybe that's not something you're going to wear into a fire, and maybe the only ones you can
No.
get aren't fire resistive or whatever. Be careful if you're
Yeah.
using fire in your demonstration, but try to look the part. What kind of uniform can you present if you don't have one? Or if your fire brigade doesn't allow you to wear your
Mm.
uniform when you're out doing that, we don't let those be obstacles to stopping. Get
No.
out there. People will notice you. People notice what you're doing, and it's really very effective. So great presentation today, Jose. This is just the
You're
first
welcome.
in our series. We're going to do a couple more focusing on this prevention to try to help you guys get ready to go out. We're looking at September, sort of as that fire prevention month thing. But as
Hmm.
Jose said right in the very beginning, right, we don't need to wait for the named month, right? Fire prevention is an activity that we can do every day or any time of the year. And
Yes.
especially when we're limited in resources. If some of you out there are probably sitting there in a station that maybe doesn't have much of any fire equipment, right? There's plenty of fire brigades that throughout Africa, there's fire brigades with no fire trucks, no fire engines, right?
True.
And you think, well, you know, what are we doing, right? But prevention, right? If you're lacking on those resources, if you don't have the fire engine, or you do, but you don't have access to much water, right? You rarely have things.
Mm.
What can we do to impact our community? Help make things better before it even gets started. That's the whole idea behind
Absolutely.
fire prevention. And
Mm.
the other point we need to make is that no matter how well we're doing with fire prevention, right, fires are still going to happen. So we're still going to have that job, right? Fire prevention is not, we're not putting ourselves out of a job either.
No.
You could be the best fire prevention officer on the planet, and wherever you're working, there's going to be fires, right? So
True.
we're not putting our brothers out of work. Matter of fact,
Mhm.
as we try to track some data about the effectiveness of fire prevention, the interesting thing that
Mm.
happens in Africa is that sometimes we see more, what appears to be more instances of fire after
Oh,
we start doing fire prevention. Well, why is that? Right? It's not, oh, is it not working? Well, by doing the prevention, people are calling more. I mean, how many fires take place in the community that you don't even know about? You know, if
True.
the fire broke out, the fire burned itself out, people lost their stuff or whatever, maybe even somebody lost their life in it. And from the fire brigade, you didn't even know about it. Nobody ever called you, right? Sometimes we even see after we start doing fire prevention, you see that there's an increase in what appears to be fires. It's not, but they're getting reported and getting you there. So there's just so much
Absolutely.
to it. You're always going to have a job. Um, don't worry about putting
Yeah.
yourself out of a job. It gives you something to do. It helps the day go faster when you've got something to do. You're not just sitting around waiting.
Absolutely.
So tons of reasons to get out there and do it, right?
For sure. Thank
All
you.
right. Uh, we're getting close to the top of the hour. We would like to hear from you guys and hear about what you guys are doing in your fire prevention and things like that. So we're going to get to that as we transition into our tea time. Let me just thank Jose for coming and sharing. Jose's been out there on the ground doing this. He's found a lot of success with this. A number of his videos and things have met the term of going viral, right?
Yeah.
Um, and that's just spreading the message of what we're doing. So it's great that we have him as a resource to help guide us through what did you do, what worked for you, how can we replicate that for ourselves. So great. Thank you, Jose, for sharing that, not holding on to
My
that
pleasure.
knowledge, but passing that on so we can all grow. That's really great stuff.
My
And
pleasure.
then thanks to all of you for coming and sitting and listening to this. Take what we've given you here. How can you roll this out into your community? How can you get buy-in from your chief officers and get more people involved? So thank you for taking the time out of your schedule. Most of you are probably sitting here using your own network bundles. We don't take for granted the fact that you're investing in your knowledge to better your community. We love it. Keep it up. We've got plenty of extra seats here. So share the link, share the registration, share your screen with somebody if you think there's somebody out there that
Yes.
can benefit from our training. Thanks, everybody. We're switching over to tea time. I hope to see you all again next week.